On a recent podcast, Mike Sanders was telling Voldemort about his time writing for WWE Developmental and how you taught him that you must have the writing to have the program fill the entire TV time slot and have a plan B if the planned show ends before the scheduled 2 hours. He gave you much credit. Any stories or opinions, or perhaps one of the most underrated talents in above average Mike Sanders? Also, any insight into the story that Heyman saw to it that Mike was terminated from the WWE due to his close friendship with Big Sexy Kevin Nash? Thanks, Jim. Five Guys is better than Wendy's. Slick Venom.
And I agree with you. Five Guys is better than Wendy's. And I have no knowledge firsthand about Heyman getting him fired because of it. I don't know, because I wasn't up amongst those annoying fucks at that point in time. I can tell you, Mike Sanders worked with him some here in OVW because he was stationed in HWA, Heartland Wrestling Association in Cincinnati, for Les Thatcher when they had a developmental program, but they would come down and tape their television at the old Davis Arena, the OVW facilities that we had, and I got to work with him there, and I liked Mike. He was very glib. He was a good promo. He was one of those guys that was a good worker, but not a great athlete, if that makes sense to the folks out there, and that his primary thing wasn't doing hurricane ranners and giant flips, but he could fucking work, and he could promo, and he was a good personality. As far as my advice to him on television, it was simply this, especially at the level that we were doing it, where there was no post-production. It harkened back to the days of the 80s where you were rolling tape and you rolled your black segments for commercials to be dropped in, and otherwise you needed to end up at 59 minutes for a 1-hour show. And if your main event ended early, because that's the one thing that we used to teach the OVW guys first and foremost, how to end. Not only, see, a lot of times now, if guys end early, they say, okay, well, we got in our time and we didn't go over. Well, guess what, motherfucker? You went under. That's fucking just sucks just as bad. No, you got to end on fucking time. And with the OVW guys, because we drilled it in their head and we kept contact with the referee, and I wrote out their finishes that they should do, and don't add shit, and don't fucking go into business for yourself on the finish. Do it in the course of the match. They would end on time. We would roll tape and we would end between 15 and 45 seconds off at the end of our program. And that's the way you tell a true professional, is can you not only end on time, but can you not end under time? But sometimes these things happen. Sometimes somebody gets hurt, or sometimes it's just there and you need to. And it helps the match, the main event or whatever. So you go home, and in that case, then there has to be some type of plan B where you can tell two guys you trust, go out and have an argument, or tell one guy you trust, go out and cut a promo on how great you are, or tell a few guys you can trust, go out and have a fucking fight and ad-lib this shit without having to tell them what they're supposed to be fucking doing. And that's one of the things that Mike picked up, and especially with the HWA guys who were a little green at that point and who would end all over the page. If you've got another 3 minutes of TV time to fill, what are you going to fucking do? It's going to be a dry ass interview, or you have a couple of guys go out and get it on and fill that fucking time, and the viewers are none the wiser. And I believe that's what he's referring to.